Good? Everybody good? All right, welcome to the Meet Your Army Community Partner Luncheon. I'm going to ask, ladies and gentlemen, that you please stand for the entrance of the official party and the playing of the national anthem. Official party. All right, you may be seated. Welcome to Mercedes-Benz Stadium and the Meet Your Army Community Partner Luncheon. I am Staff Sergeant Justin Lloyd, Station Commander of the Warner Robins Recruiting Station. Our host for today, and a soldier for life, is Mr. Stephen Cannon. We are very gracious that Mr. Cannon has provided not only the facility for today, but our lunch as well. Mr. Cannon was named Chief Executive Officer of A&B Group, LLC, effective February 2016, assuming the day-to-day leadership of the company's for-profit businesses. Mr. Cannon leads all business operations of the National Football League's Atlanta Falcons, Atlanta United of Major League Soccer, Mercedes-Benz Stadium, and PGA Tour Superstore. Prior to joining A&B Group, Mr. Cannon served as President and Chief Executive Officer of Mercedes-Benz USA, and was responsible for leading operations that generated record sales with annual revenues exceeding $20 billion. During his tenure, MB USA achieved a first ever #1 ranking on the American Customer Satisfaction Index and was also lauded as one of the best places to work by Fortune magazine 5 years in a row. Mr. Cannon oversaw MB USA's successful headquarters relocation from New Jersey to the Metro Atlanta area, in addition to crafting a sports sponsorship strategy that closely aligned the premium brand with properties reflective of his category leadership and brand position. Mr. Cannon began his automotive career in 1991 as Executive Assistant to the President and CEO of Mercedes-Benz of North America, predecessor to MB USA. From there, he moved to Stuttgart, Germany, and joined a small team tasked with the development, manufacturing, and launch of the M-Class, the first Mercedes-Benz SUV ever made in and for this market. Following his time in Germany, Mr. Cannon served as Director of Marketing for DeBeese Financial Services, later Daimler Financial Services. He also served as principal for the Richards Group, one of the largest independent full-service advertising agencies in the U.S., before rejoining MB USA in 2007, where he served as the Vice President of Marketing for MB USA from June of 2007 until he was promoted to President and CEO in 2012. Mr. Cannon graduated with honors from the United States Military Academy at West Point. He is airborne Ranger qualified and served as first lieutenant in West Germany during the fall of the Iron Curtain. During his time in the Army, he also served 5 years as an artillery officer. Thank you very much for hosting our Army, Mr. Cannon. Meet Your Army is an outreach initiative that sends Army leaders to American communities where the Army has little or no presence. Every year, more and more Americans lose connection with their Army. For this reason, the Army must do more to explain to the American public who the Army is, what the Army does, and what the Army stands for. The Meet Your Army initiative brings the Army and soldiers to communities throughout the United States where both civilians and local press can interact with them and learn more about who defends their nation. Over the last several days, many of you have assisted us in getting out the Army story and letting the communities in and around Atlanta understand who their Army is and what we really do. Thank you. Give yourselves a round of applause. At this time, I would like to introduce today's dignitaries. Mr. Stephen Cannon, CEO of Mercedes-Benz America. Casa James Balcom and Casa John Hargrove, civilian aide to the Secretary of the Army. Major General Diana M. Holland, Commander, U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, South Atlantic Division, and our guest speaker. Brigadier General Nelson G. Rosen, Deputy Commanding General, 3rd Medical Command, Deployment Support. Brigadier General Thomas H. Blackstock, Director, Joint Staff, Georgia Army National Guard. Colonel Jason Kerr, Commander, 2nd Recruiting Brigade. Lieutenant Colonel Frederick B. Parker, Commander of the Atlanta Recruiting Battalion. And our hometown hero, Sergeant First Class Anthony Klotz. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Stephen Cannon.
Appreciate that nice intro. We need to shorten that intro. That was way too long. I made a mental note. We won't be doing that. First of all, welcome everyone to Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Is this a first time in the stadium for anybody? We're pretty proud of this place. We've been open for 2.5 years. This is the state of the art when it comes to sports and entertainment complexes in the whole world. That's a humble brag. It's not that humble. But we've been recognized across the world as having one of the best fan experiences, and that's really, really important to us. So I'm thrilled that you all get to be here, and I'm the welcoming committee, and I'll turn the mic over quickly, but not without saying just a couple things about how committed we are to helping all of you in your cause. For the Falcons and for Atlanta United, for Mercedes-Benz Stadium, Salute to Service is something that we take very personally here. Salute to Service is a framework at the National Football League, and I think you've all probably seen it. One week a year, much like Crucial Catch for cancer, is dedicated to honoring our servicemen and women across the globe. And that's what a lot of good franchises do. For us, Salute to Service Week is 52 weeks out of every year. Every single game, match, event, concert, we take the opportunity to use this amazing platform, and the National Football League is a very, very powerful platform. People care about it, talk radio, television. It's all dedicated to the conversation around football, soccer to a lesser degree. And so our proposition has been from day one is how can we use this amazing platform of the Atlanta Falcons National Football League to shine the spotlight on service and sacrifice. I'll just highlight a couple of activities. We've got our Salute to Service game coming up. I'm pretty excited about it. It's on November 24th. We're going to have 94 Gold Star families. So we've been celebrating Gold Star families for the last several years. In fact, every player will have the initial of that lost hero, that lost loved one on their helmet. They get to spend the entire weekend with us. They go up to training camp. They meet their individual player. The picture of that individual, their hero, that lost hero, is in every player's locker along with their bio. So they get the opportunity to connect with their player and with that family. And so this year we've stepped it up. It's the 25th anniversary of TAPS. That's the Tragedy Assistance Program for Survivors. For those that don't know, I'm on the board of that. And Bonnie Carroll, who's just an amazing woman and has created this loving, caring network for those grieving their lost heroes. She'll be down along with 94 families in celebration of the 25th anniversary for TAPS. Actually found a really interesting guy, Medal of Honor, Doc McLuhan, Medal of Honor recipient. He just got recognized in 2016 for something that happened in the late 60s in Vietnam. So he was a sadly delayed recognition for his heroism. Anyway, I met Doc at an event. Turns out Doc is a singer, and he's going to be singing our national anthem. So we're going to have the only national anthem performed by a Medal of Honor recipient. I think that's pretty cool. And on top of that, my classmate, the Secretary of Defense, Mark Esper, is going to come down and he's going to swear in or re-enlist a group of soldiers pre-game on the field. So I share all that with you, again, not to brag, but to say, we're in this together. We recognize that you all have a challenge, that 1%, the separation between the Army or the military and the civilians that they serve. In that gap, there is risk, and we understand that, and we are committed, dedicated to doing whatever we can to help address that gap and to be part of the solution and not the problem. We need help, though, from you. Civilian leaders need help from you, because we want to do the right things. Everybody can do things and say thank you for your service and sort of salute. That's great, but it needs to be meaningful stuff that helps to move the needle for all of you. So I'll throw the challenge back at all of you and just ask the question, how can you help us be better, more focused on helping all of you so that we can continue to stand up the best military in the world, because the last time I checked, the world isn't getting any less dangerous. So we're in this with you. Thank you for being here. We're thrilled that we get to host you, and I'm looking forward to a meaningful dialogue. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Cannon. Ladies and gentlemen, our hometown hero, Sergeant First Class Anthony Klotz.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests. It's truly an honor and a pleasure to be here today as the hometown hero. It really means a lot to me to be able to come back to my hometown and kind of talk to you guys and kind of tell you my story a little bit and kind of what I've done and what the Army's done for me. It's been a great experience. 15 years ago, I was a high school senior in Woodstock High School, about 45 minutes north of here, and I was getting ready to graduate. I didn't know what I was going to do. I had no direction. So the Army recruiters had been calling me on the phone. So I finally went in. I talked to the recruiter. I was like, hey, I'm not really good at anything other than music. I play the saxophone. Starting in middle school, all throughout my senior year, I played the saxophone. I loved it. I think I was good at it. So I was like, is there a way for me to get in the Army playing the saxophone? He said, yeah. We'll do you up a contract. So the first step was to go take the ASVAB. So I did. I went to go take the ASVAB. I found myself sitting next to a fellow who had an 18 X-ray contract. For those of you who don't know what an 18 X-ray is, it's a Special Forces recruit. So he told me all about it. He's like, they're giving me all this money to join and sign this contract, to hopefully be a Green Beret down the road. I was like, that sounds pretty cool. I mean, let's forget about the band thing for a little bit. I'm gonna go talk to my recruiter about this Special Forces thing. So I did. He looked at me funny. He was like, so you want to go from the band to Spec Ops? I'm like, yeah, that's what I want to do. So he did. He did me up the contract, got me a bonus, went to basic training, finished that up, PCS up to Fort Bragg. I got selected, made it through the Q course, no issues, and PCS to Fort Campbell, Kentucky, to 5th Special Forces Group for my first duty station as a Special Forces Engineer Sergeant. Deployments, training, a lot of cool schools, met a lot of cool people, did about four and a half years of that. Went back to Fort Bragg as an instructor for about 3 years, tried to give back to the community a little bit, put some new students through the Q course, get some new Green Berets out there. After I was done with that, I went back to Fort Campbell, back to operations, deployments, training, schools. Ended up going to the Special Forces Intelligence Sergeant course, which is where I became an 18 Fox. graduated on the Commandant's list. I was very proud of that. I had never really achieved anything as far as Commandant's list or any sort of honor, so I was really proud about that. I was able to do a deployment as an intel sergeant, which was a lot of fun. Definitely very, very challenging. So that was my last operational duty station. About a year ago, I got assigned to the USASOC Black Daggers, which, let me tell you, is by far the most interesting and the most fun assignment I've ever had, because what we do is we go around the country and we skydive. We do parachute demonstrations. We're actually jumping into the GSU football game tomorrow evening to deliver the game ball. But it's not just skydiving, it's also giving back to the community. Kind of like, we're basically recruiters. We don't have a recruiter badge, but we're coming out of that operational setting and trying to give back to the community. So we're getting the word out there for Army Special Operations. But the bottom line is the Army has been such a great opportunity for me, and I've met some amazing people. I've met the most intelligent, the most talented folks in my line of work that I just won't ever have that opportunity anywhere else. It's been really good to me. There's a lot of people, a lot of naysayers out there, but as with anything, there's a bright side and then there's a negative side to it. Just, you gotta stay positive, and I think the Army has given so much to me. It's an honor to be here, to be able to share my story with you. So I'm very thankful to be here today. So I'd actually like to present Mr. Funny story. So 15 years ago, things really come full circle. Mr. Bundick here was the station commander of the recruiting station that put me in the Army. So there is, come on up here, Mr. Bundick. There's a saying in the Army, and I'm sure most of us have heard it: don't thank me, thank your recruiter. So, with that being said, I'm going to thank my recruiter and present him the Black Daggers 2019 lithograph. Just, we appreciate everything. Coordinate this whole week, and coordinating the GSU stuff and the tandems. You made it easy, and I wanted to present this to you because you put me in the Army.
Great words, Sergeant Kotz. Thank you very much. At this time, we're going to continue with prayer. We're going to ask, ladies and gentlemen, that Dr. Leland Jones will come and deliver the invocation.
Let us pray. We're grateful, oh God, for this time to be able to come together, to be able to recalibrate our minds on the mission ahead, but at the same time to be able to stop all compositions in one place, one Army, with a mindset to change the lives of those who come and say, I want to serve my country. We're grateful for these recruiters and for the work they do, and for the various echelons of service and the various branches that make a difference in the lives of that one soldier, of that one family member, of that one soldier. We are grateful. And it's in this space that we also want to take a moment, breathe, and just give you praise. And at the same time, ask that you might bless the food to nourish our bodies with the blessings we stand in the need of. Let it nourish us physically, but let this fellowship nourish our souls, rejuvenate our ideas, recharge our minds, and put us back on mission. This we pray in the name of the one who makes it all possible. Amen. Amen.
All right, so now it's time for everybody's favorite thing, time to eat lunch. All right, so we have the buffet style over there, to my right, your left, and you can help yourself. So you get to eat till, according to our schedule, 12:45, and then we will bring up our guest speaker who's going to share with us words of inspiration. All right, you may eat.